Next up, we have Taylor.
Good morning, everyone. Most of y'all don't know me, so I'm going to start by telling y'all a little about myself. My name is Taylor Ard. I'm a rising senior. Yes, I'm old. And going into my senior year, there's a lot of changes happening. And the biggest one, oh, wait, hold on. I have to warn y'all, I'm going to cry. I cry a lot. The biggest one that has happened in my life recently is on March 22nd, my mother and I were officially evicted from our home. And this has been an ongoing struggle in our lives, eviction after eviction, so to me it's normal. So throughout my entire life, I have struggled with my relationship with God. I grew up going to church, and I loved going to church, but I never fully grasped the idea that there was a God. And then we stopped. Oh, wow. And then we stopped going to church. And you're staring at me real hard, Mr. Jamie. I'm sorry. Whew. I got to cope with him here. And we stopped going to church, and I strayed. And I didn't believe in God. I didn't see God. And it's only been about a year and a couple months from now that I've let God back into my life, and I've started to grow with him. Point being, it's an ongoing struggle in my life, eviction and my relationship with God, and this recent eviction has really tested my faith and my trust in him, because it makes me question, like, if this is part of his plan, then why does it keep happening? And I know that it is, but it's hard to keep going with that. And so I'm living with my best friend, Maggie, who a lot of y'all probably know, and my mom is living with her friend in Deering. So it's really hard, but I am so grateful that I got to go on this trip, because the people over there are just so faithful and so loving and so strong. And it's shown me how to grow in my faith, and that God really does have a plan, and that it's going to work out, because this trip, we didn't think we were going to get to Costa Rica. Like, please. And it's tested us, but it brought so many more blessings than we could have ever imagined. And leading up to the trip, Josh was like stressing, saying it's gonna it's gonna be impactful, it's gonna be emotionally draining, it's gonna be all this and all that. And I don't think any of us could have ever imagined how impactful it was. Like, I can't even put it into words for y'all guys. It's truly beautiful. But the first day really hit me hard, because, like, the first full day, that's so much better. We went to food distribution, and we went to 3 houses. And it wasn't until the 3rd house that I started to cry, because I'm a crier. But I was just sitting here listening to these people's stories and seeing how they lived, but hearing and feeling their love for God despite everything they were going through. It's just inspiring. It gives me an example for what I want to be, to have that unwavering faith in God. They don't need anything else, because they know that they have God. And it shows me what I should be and that I can be. So this trip has just inspired me to actually act on my faith and to not be ashamed, because it's hard being a teenager and believing in God and showing that. But I just can't even describe how grateful I am to have witnessed what we witnessed through God. Hope we get to go back one day. So thank you.
Next up, we have Carolina Loki.
I don't know how I can top Taylor. That was pretty good. That was pretty moving. To be so honest, I didn't really prepare to talk. I have some bulletins written down. But even when I was looking back and trying to find a way to put this experience into words, I couldn't. Every time somebody would ask me about the trip, the only thing that came to my mind was God is good. And also the words, I don't know, because I couldn't. The way that this trip impacted me was a little different, because I found some trauma that I didn't know that I had. I realized, let me explain something real quick. Growing up, not well taken care of, and I was split away from my two little sisters. I cannot see them, and I realized how much I really miss them, and it hit hard. Throughout VBS, a lot of the younger little girls really acted like little sisters. They would taunt, they would pick at me, they would say jokes with me, they would say a certain meme that I know all of y'all are very tired of. 6'7". And just playing these games with these children, and at one point I felt as though I was preaching to these children. And at the end I asked, do you understand? And when I looked at the children in the eyes, and hearing some of them speak in English saying, I understand. Because I told them that it is not too late for anybody, young or old. I felt like I was preaching not only to the children, but the people in the back that were listening. The older adults that maybe felt like it was too late for them. And they knew that it wasn't. They understood. And it came to the last day of VBS, and my Spanish is not good, so I had to have a translator. And my friend Yaya translated for me. And there was this one girl, she was trying to say something to me, and I just didn't understand. I said, I don't understand. So she got Yaya. And Yaya, upon hearing whatever she said, wept. And when Yaya finally told me what she said, she said, even though I've only known you for 4 days, you're like a sister to me. It hit hard. Sister once again. That joy that I felt was so overwhelming. And the children saw that. The children came up to me and hugged me, and we wept together for what felt like not long enough. And I thought I was saying goodbye to them at VBS. I thought I wouldn't see them any longer. And as my friends on the trip comforted me, I got over it and continued with the day. And then we got to the point where we were singing. It got to the main event at the Wednesday night. And the amount of children that showed up, and the amount of children that came to sit with me, Lily, Taylor, Yaya, and Carolina, all the children that came up to us and gave us gifts and had given us handwritten English letters. And this one, she was 5, her name was Sammy, she gave me a stuffed animal. And you could tell that she loved that stuffed animal. It was well used, a little dirty, but I will treasure that for the rest of my life. one of the parents of the children came up to me and said, "My daughter couldn't stop talking about you. They loved you dearly." And so she gave me something that she made from hand. She gave me a string with shells on it. She said it was for you because I remember that I told the child that I liked the beach. And she had some spare shells, so she made it for me. And painted it the colors of the shirts that I wore on that trip. When I spoke that night, I was crying. I could not keep myself together that night. I could not. And after it, I got down and I was crying. I was getting off the stage and all the children, all the little girls, got out of their seats and came to me. And I was standing in the middle and they all surrounded me, hugging me, saying "Yo amo tu," saying that they would miss me. And I didn't want them to be upset that I was leaving, because I was upset that I was leaving, but I had to be the stronger one because, I was older. Can't let with the trip, with the church, or on my own, because they were my family. In the span of 4 days, I made family and friends, even though I couldn't understand a word that they were saying. Maybe some words, but I couldn't connect the dots. And the people there were so strong, because I've dealt with some things, but that was unimportant compared to what they had to go through. The amount of addictions we saw, the amount of stress we saw, the amount of anxiety. There was one lady, she had so much anxiety, her hair was falling out into her hands. There was one lady where she was struggling with so many medical problems. She just lost her son. And we asked what we could pray for, and she said, "I just want to be able to spread the word of God and go on a mission trip just like you guys." She didn't want material things. And that is what I genuinely found so moving. Because, in all honesty, I find myself trying to keep up with worldly. I want materialistic things sometimes. I get jealous. I'm a sinner. But seeing their strength is what truly opened my eyes. Because there's some people that have everything in the world. They could snap and have it at their fingers, but yet they are so far from God. It's scary. But yeah, you see these people with nothing. No electricity, no plumbing, no food, loss of family, health problems. They can't go to the hospital. They can't get help. And yet the only thing that they ask for is prayer. So I will end with what few little notes that I wrote. Going into this mission trip, I thought we were going to Costa Rica to make a difference in other people's lives. Instead, God changed me. We left behind our comfort and routines to serve, and through every setback, God taught us what it truly means to trust Him. Though the more we separated ourselves from the world, the closer we grew to Him. We saw His faithfulness in every challenge and every blessing. One night, I was doing my Bible verses that I tried to keep up with. And one that truly stuck with me that I showed Kathy was Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not into your own understanding. We came to serve, but we left with stronger faith and a reminder that God is always working, even when we don't understand His plan.
Next up, we have Ismail. Now, I will say, all throughout this trip, you can head up here, buddy. All throughout this trip, one of the things that I kept on reminding the team of was just how we saw God's divine providence with everything. And Ismail's daughter came on the trip, and we got to know him over the course of leading up to the trip. But he came because he was a parent doing the trip with his daughter. And there's more to that story as well. But throughout the trip, every team member that God placed there, He placed with a purpose. And we all got to know Ismael very well, but all throughout the entire thing, we were just reminded over and over that even though he came to be a parent, he was such a blessing to our team, as well as to the church there. And again, it was just God's divine providence and setup. So if you guys want to hear the full experience, because the daughter spoke in the first service, you got to go online and check out the other service as well to hear all the other speakers that we had. But, Ismael.
Hi, guys. Well, it's difficult for me. I'm from Puerto Rico. I grown up in that situation. One regular house, 3 brothers, daddy and mama, doing the basic thing every day for putting us up. Sometimes you eat dinner, maybe next day you don't have breakfast, right? In my house, talking about God, love. Just try doing the best I can. My daddy and my mama for putting us up. Appreciate that. Both passed away. When I grown up, I make a wrong decision, right? I don't have excuse. I don't come here for excuse, no. I make a wrong decision. I'm doing a few stuff I don't have to go through it to do. 2010, I almost died, right? I got 6 shots in my body. I lose 1 lung. I stayed in the hospital for 2 months. My best friend, he died. At that point, God told me, what do you want to do? You want to go and play a game, or you want to come next to me? I make the best decision. I go next to God. I try pushing myself, doing the best I can. 2014, my daddy died. This, putting me down too. I'm doing the best I can to take care of my mama. 2020, she died Alzheimer. I said, I know what are you doing, talking with God, right? I talk about myself. But at that point, I talked with God. I said, I know what you do. 2010, I was supposed to be died. You let me here for take care of my mama. The other 3 brothers, I don't know what the guy, I'm sorry. I don't care to. I take care of my mama on my own. Yaya mama, appreciate. She helped me a lot. When I go to Costa Rica, I remember everything when I grew up in that situation. Because you think about Costa Rica, these people don't have too much choice, right? Some people, I talk with a lot of people, I speak my language, I feel home, I speak Spanish. It's a lot of people working 7 days for $60. I make $60 here in 30 minutes. The people need working 7 days for making $60. When you go in the house, like everybody say, you see people with bad situation, only pray for love, healthy issues. I don't listen to nobody say, I want a new house, I want somebody help me with my house. No. I appreciate that little food that you give you. These people appreciate that. I see one house, we don't have floor. It's dirt in the floor. Something that touching me real hard is Tony. What happened? Every day I talk with the pastor over there. Every night, everybody play game or go to sleep. I stay talking with the pastor. Why? I don't know. I understand why. I'll tell you later. But every night, me and him talking. And that night, me and him talking about drug, alcohol, right? People, I tell like, oh, this happened in my family. My big brother using drug, alcohol, stealing from my mama, he's stealing my shoes, my video game, everything. Me and him start talking. Don't go to sleep. Next day, he wake up. He say, I have a mission for you. Oh, what do you want me to do? So I'll tell you later. And different boss, he called me and said, come on with me. Yeah, I asked him, I said, why me? He said, somebody told me, it's you. I said, okay, let's do it. Go to Tony's house. Tony not here. He's his family. Tony's wife and 2 little girls. I go back to the church. I start thinking about, I'm a little mad, but I want to see Tony, right? I go shower. I told Pastor, what's going on? I'm a little confused that moment. I take a shower. Somebody told me, Tony want to be here tonight for the church service. I'm crying. I'm scared. I'm looking everywhere. I let him pass that moment. Ready for the service in the night. I see Tony's sister in the door. Smile, happy. She told me, Tony here. I said, this guy. I said, my mind, right? I see Tony, I start talking with Tony. You know, Tony is a great guy. He believe God. But I think he knows how the equipment for he can get out. Us here, I want to say something. I'm sorry if I said wrong. Right here, you have one member, family member, in that situation, you can help quit. Over there, no. This is the money situation. It is us. You guys see, it's everything about money, right? In the day, you can have a money, but when you die, you don't take nothing. That's what I think about. I learned that too. But what's my point with Tony? I see Tony in my family. Tony, like, great guy. I never forgot Tony. I'm crying, like little baby. I'm crying yesterday too, right? But I'm talking with Tony. If the way I may see, I don't know if I may have the opportunity to go next year. I don't know if I see Tony. You know what I'm saying? But it's too deep in that hole. It is difficult for come out. What I may got for that, I was talking with Mr. James. You know, I learned a lot, but I think God working with me personally. I passed a lot of stuff in my life. A lot. I appreciate my daughter. When my daughter told me come with the thing, I say, no, I don't go with these people. I don't know that people. You know, it's true. Next day I go work, I come back, I stay in the house, I say, let's do it. I want to go. Everybody here making me feel comfortable. You know, go over there, feel comfortable. It's the same when the flight gone. This happened for something. You know, everything happened for something. I understand that. But now my next step of figure out what God wanted with me now. But I'll tell you something. This changed a lot for me. Thank you for everything.
Great conversations we had with different team members on different things. And I remember one of the conversations with Ismail was when he was talking with Tony, and then after he was explaining just the different things that he was feeling throughout the process and how burdened he was with Tony and just sharing those things. And he was like, I don't know why I'm feeling this way. And I was like, that's the Holy Spirit giving you discernment and giving you the words to say and everything like that. And just seeing, not only through Ismail, but everyone on our team, the way that God was moving through them. Next up, we have Kathy.
I know, if you know me, you probably think I'm going to cry, but I'm not. So we were welcomed to Costa Rica by 3 ladies from Praying Pelican Missions, as you see on our shirts. That's the organization we worked through to plan our trip. And we came to love Ishi and Kimberly and Laura as we did every other Costa Rican that we met. It's often the case, especially if you've never experienced a mission trip, as many folks have said to you today, to feel like you're going to be a blessing to the people to whom you're ministering. And that is true. But what many people don't realize until they've been there is what a blessing those people can be to you if your heart is in the right place. This was the case for our trip both ways. You've heard some of the impact that Costa Rica had on us through the stories the young people have shared this morning. And if you want to hear more, listen to the YouTube from 9 o'clock service. But now I want to share with you a bit about what Ishi shared with us so that you can know what a powerful impact these young people had on the people they encountered in Costa Rica, a land where they couldn't even communicate verbally, but they certainly could spiritually. Each night of our trip, Ishi led us in a reflection of the highlights of our day. And it was really helpful for me, especially, to just vocalize what we'd experienced spiritually during the day, just to kind of process it a little bit. And our last night there, we sat together on the beach, we shared supper, and Ishi led us in our nightly ritual. Only this time we kind of shared just our overarching takeaways spiritually. And after that, Ishi shared what the week meant to her and her team, as well as Pastor and Pastora, the leaders of the church there. Ishi shared how some mission groups who are coming to that particular community opt to stay in a hotel instead of staying at the church, which is what we did. We stayed at the church. And staying at the church was for us a huge part of the experience because of the time that it allowed us with Pastor and Pastora those who prepared meals for us 3 times a day, gave of their time every single day, and came and fed us all day long. And the Praying Pelican team, and then also with each other, just lots of time to bond with each other, which if we'd been in a hotel would not have been as good as that was. Of course, sharing 5 concrete outdoor showers where all your clothes and your towel were on a chair outside the shower was just an added bonus to staying at the church. Ishi said that mission team groups always do what is asked of them. Every team they've ever had always does what is asked of them. But she said there's a difference between doing what you are asked and having a heart for what you are doing. And our group had a heart for the people we visited and the children we served during VBS. I know that you could hear that from the stories that have been shared this morning. Ishi went on to say there are a lot of things that you can fake in life, but your love for the Lord is not one of them. It shows in everything you do. And she said our group showed and shared a true love for the Lord. And not only did her team see it, but Pastor and Pastora saw it as well and were touched by it. Pastor even thanked Josh for his message at the service they had for us where Josh preached. He said Josh's message spoke to him, and he shared several times how he was learning so much from Josh. Their story, Pastor and Pastora's story, is a beautiful one as well, and if you'd like to hear it, we'd love to share that story with you at some point. But back to Ishi. Ishi talked about how she went into her job with Praying Pelican Missions with a true passion for ministry and for what she was going to be doing with these people in these communities. But over time, it had become just a job. And I know a lot of people can relate to that. You get in the routine and the rut of your everyday job, and it just becomes that, a job, and you're just doing what you do every day. And the reason behind it becomes lost. And she said she was just going through the motions and was still good at it, but it didn't have the same personal impact for her that it once did. She was forgetting why she was doing this. She said they don't always mesh well with the mission team that they're working with, but this week was different. This week, with our team, relit the fire for what she does as a mission team leader. It was a rejuvenating week for her and for her team. She also said her team had had conversations with Pastor and Pastora, reflecting the same recognition and appreciation for what our group brought to the visitations and the genuine love we showed in each home we visited. And an additional area where these young people made an impact was with Jesus, one of our bus drivers. Jesus was a friendly guy, and again, even with a major communication barrier, the kids and Jamie became great friends with Jesus. By the end of the week, he had taken a lot of pictures of the students and with him in some of them, and had made a TikTok video that he was so proud to share. But the biggest thing was that by the end of the week, the bus driver was playing Christian songs on the bus in Spanish everywhere we went. God went before us to Costa Rica. He went with us to Costa Rica and is going to continue to do a good work in us now that we are back home. And I just want to close by expressing a huge thank you to our church family for the support and prayers that allowed us to go on this life-changing trip, as well as a special thank you to Neil Tam and Mike Dudley for taking us to Charlotte last Saturday at 4 o'clock in the morning, and also to Cherie Royal, Mike Wall, and Cherie's co-pilot Penny Whitaker for picking us up at the Charlotte airport Friday night and getting us home right on time at 11 o'clock. Thank y'all so much.
Again, I'm sure as the team has echoed over and over and over again, this trip was a blessing. This trip was amazing. I can't wait to see what's going to happen just with what God has done within our team. There are ripples that carry out from this type of thing within the student ministry and within the church, I believe. But we also wanted to say thank you guys so much for the prayers, the support, the love, the care that you guys have shown us and our students as well throughout this process.
It's great to see all of your lovely faces. If you don't know me, I'm Josh. I'm the youth director here at the church, and we have had an amazing missions trip over this last week. And I could sit up here and tell all of you guys the amazing things that happen, but I think what would hit more is to have our students and our leaders share with you some of the things that God has done through them and within them on this trip. Now, this is kind of a two-parter, so if you guys want to hear all of the testimonies, you do have to come to the second service. But with that, I'm going to ask Sarah and Jamie to come on up.
Good morning. Thank you, Pastor Steve, for allowing us all to share about our experience this morning. We knew if we didn't share it right away, we might forget some of the details. So I'd like to start by sharing about our experience getting to Costa Rica. We left the back parking lot of the Family Life Center at 4 a.m. on Saturday morning to get to Charlotte for our 9 a.m. flight. We arrived with no problems in what we thought would be plenty of time. But when we walked inside the airport, it was a sea of people. We figured out where we needed to go for the group check-in and began to patiently wait in line, but the line never moved. We started to make friends with other groups around us, and many of those groups were also going on mission trips, one of them even to Costa Rica. When we finally made it up to the ticket counter, I had all 17 passports in my hand and handed them to the ticket agent. She started scanning them in, and she got through about 5 of us, and she said, "It's too late. I can't check any more of you in because you've missed the hour window for an international flight." And she wasn't very nice. And we were all doing our best to display our nice Christian attitudes, but it was really hard. Thank goodness, another very kind ticket agent came over to help us get rebooked, and she was great. The only way for us to get to Costa Rica was to fly out the next day. There was another 9 a.m. flight, but all 17 of us couldn't get on that flight. 4 of us needed to go on the 5 a.m. flight to Miami to then connect to Costa Rica. And it only made sense for my family of 4 to do that. While we were trying to get rebooked, a nice gentleman approached our group. He was with a church that was also going on a mission trip, and Jamie started chit-chatting with him. He asked where we were from, and when we said Thompson, he said, "Thompson without a P?" Jamie said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, what church?" It was Thompson First. And he said, "My son is Zach. You just hired my son." And we just all, it was just the best. His dad, Hub, is just so kind and friendly, and he and Jamie and several other of the leaders just stood and chatted with him forever, and he talked about how he was going to pray for us, and they had time to continue to check in because their flight was later. But that was our first God wink of the day, was meeting Zach's dad. When we realized we were not going to get on the flight, Stacy got on the phone with local hotels and found us one that had a shuttle that could come pick us up at the airport and then bring us back to the airport the next morning. So that's what we did. We had the best day in Charlotte at the Hilton Garden. We ordered pizza, we hung out in the lobby, we swam in the pool, we made bracelets, we played cards, we went on a walk. We indulged in some delicious ice cream from a very special place. Then we had Chick-fil-A for dinner. The day really turned into a bonding experience for our team. And what we didn't know is that God wasn't ready for us to be in Costa Rica yet. I think He knew we needed this day of bonding to get ready for our experience. One of the most beautiful things that happened on Saturday was that the teenagers had the best attitudes. Not one complaint or crossword was heard. They were just unbelievably accepting of the travel situation that we had been put in. So very early Saturday morning, we made the trek back to the airport. And when we arrived at 3 a.m., our sweet agent, Charnay, from the day before, was waiting on us at the ticket desk to get us checked in. Unfortunately, we had another very challenging day of travel. My family's layover in Miami went from 3 hours to 4 hours, and then the rest of the group had a medical emergency happen on their plane, which caused them to have to return to the gate. But God was also in these details. These hiccups actually allowed our planes to land close to the same time, which made things so much easier. So when we finally arrived in Costa Rica and got to the church on Sunday evening, we settled right in, and Nuevo Pacto Church became our new home. The next morning, we hit the ground running and went shopping for groceries to make food bags for the community. We divided into 2 groups, and Pastor Emmanuel had houses picked out for us to visit. It just so happened that in my group, we visited the home of Tatiana. She is a young mom of 3 little girls. She was not feeling well and had been struggling due to the fact that she is a type 1 diabetic. Many of you know that I am a type 1 diabetic, so is my son Jim. It was no coincidence that our group ended up at this house. Only God. We found out that Tatiana is not able to get enough insulin, and this is why she's been sick. Insulin is what helps keep type 1 diabetics alive, and it helps keep blood sugars under control. It's a necessity every day, and she didn't have enough. Jim had his book bag with him with his diabetes supplies inside and had the idea to give her his vial of insulin. We had brought an extra vial with us to Costa Rica just in case we needed it. After checking to make sure that Jim's insulin was similar to hers, he was able to give it to her. We know that this gift of insulin will allow Tatiana to have better blood sugars and in turn hopefully help her to feel better. This is just one small example of the way that God was working on our trip. You see, we went to Costa Rica to be a blessing, and instead they blessed us.
Good morning. Echoing some of what Sarah said, well, starting out, Steve, in the interview process, we may should have sought out Hub Blankenship because I got the goods on Zach in that visit at the airport where we can follow up with him. I want to thank this entire church, the congregation, the leadership for supporting us in this trip. We could not have done it without you all's support, both financially and prayerfully. We felt your prayers the whole time we were there. It was an amazing experience, and I just want to mention this. It's human nature. I'm trying to think of the way to describe this. We can describe everything we want to describe, but unless you were there, you can't truly feel the power that we felt while we were there, the experiences that we felt, the smells, the heat, the bus rides, everything about it. But I hope you are able to process through the passion and the love that when you hear these kids speak, that you would, truly feel what they are feeling and accept what they want to say today. So they've got a lot to say. It's very powerful testimonies that you're about to hear. We had such a great experience with them. Y'all, we're planning on returning. We're planning on putting down roots at this church with these people, with this community that truly need more help than what their church can provide. So we're going to be asking for more support in the years to come. I'd like to just give you a heads up. There's going to be some big asks coming up. And over the next year, hopefully we can continue our relationship with these wonderfully beautiful Christian people that we are associated with down there. Thank you.
Next up, we have Carolina Crawley.
Good morning. I'm going to start off by telling about my life and how my testimony grew through this mission trip. Growing up, I went to church pretty much every Sunday. When I started middle school, I didn't care about God or going to church. I cared more about fitting in and if people liked me or not. At 15, I finally started to realize what had my attention. I cared more about finding validation in other people's opinions. I cared more about their view of me rather than what God thought about me. I started to feel like God was trying to get my attention. He let my life be more difficult, which confused me a lot. I went through so many ups and downs before I started to realize how much I needed God in my life. These trials made me understand the importance of putting my faith and trust in God and not in worldly things like people's opinions. I am nowhere close to being a perfect Christian, but I try every day to find my strength and confidence in Christ and not in the world. So, when we first got to Costa Rica, I kept asking God why I was on this trip and how it would help me. I didn't fully understand the impact it would later have on my life and others. Seeing the smiles on the kids' faces, how important it was to them for us to just be there, and the bravery from kids my age to speak of their testimonies without even caring about what others thought about them. It just made me realize the importance of this trip. Ultimately, it showed me just how important my time on earth is. My purpose is to spread the gospel as well as be the person God made me to be and not who others want me to be. This trip helped me realize that I shouldn't care about others' opinions of me because I am going to continue to trust God. Because of this, I'm going to continue to trust God and find my identity in Him. Thank you.
Next up, we have Mason, and then after that, we will have a song.
Morning. So one of the main things I wanted to talk about was just the people here and the love and kindness that they showed. So we did food distribution and would go into these people's homes and we just get to hear their stories. And it's something like, without God, there's no way these people could have made it through. There was loss of family, health issues, just tragedies back to back, and the joy on these people's faces in the middle of it was just one of the strongest things that I've ever experienced. And it's just like, you get to see these people and talk to them and invite them to the church, and then you see them come back later that night, and it's just like a overwhelming feeling of joy, and you can see it on their face, but you feel it yourself too, because you know you had an impact on them. And that last night, our youth service, they played their songs, and we did ours too, but one of the songs they did was How He Loves, and it was in Spanish, but we could still understand the lyrics just because of knowing them. And one of the lines that stuck out to me is, when all of a sudden I'm unaware of these afflictions eclipsed by glory. That's something that I've heard a million times, but it hit me so hard that night, because I don't know, just seeing how these people have had these experiences in their life. They've had hard times, afflictions, and they don't let it hold them back because they know the power of God and how He's going to get them through that and how He's going to make a way for them. And it's just, this mission trip was one of the best things that I've could have done. And I'm so thankful for being able to go, and thank you for all of y'all that help support.
Next up, we have Yaya.
My name is Jadielis. Many of you may know me as Yaya. Today, I want to share how the mission trip to Costa Rica changed my life. First, I would like to thank everyone who prayed for us and helped to support this trip. Because of your generosity, my team and I had the opportunity to serve others and grow closer to God. Before we even arrived to Costa Rica, we faced some setbacks. We missed our flight and had an extra day in Charlotte. At first, it seemed like a problem, but looking back, I truly believe it was God's plan. Many of us didn't know each other very well, and that extra day gave us time to bond. By the time we reached Costa Rica, we weren't just a group, we were a family. When we arrived, I was amazed by how loving and welcoming everyone was. People greeted us with smiles and hugs. One of my favorite parts of the trip was food distribution. We packed 17 bags of food and visited families in their home. We listened to their stories and asked how we could pray for them. And we prayed together. What touched my heart the most is the homes weren't great homes. They were like our homes back here. But everyone still had so much joy and so much faith. And when we asked what could we pray for them for, nobody asked for money or material things. Instead, they asked for prayers for joy, strength, health, and for their families, and even a chance to go on a mission trip of their own one day. Even during difficult times, they trust God completely. Their faith remained no matter what. It reminded me that we often complain about small things while they continue to praise God through so much bigger struggles. Another highlight was serving at Vacation Bible School. Watching the children from food distribution show up to Vacation Bible School and smiling and laughing and learning about Jesus showed that we were making a difference. I became extremely close to 4 girls, Leah, Yal, Elena, and Francini. Leah really touched my heart because she spoke some English, and when I asked her where did she learn, she told me that she learned it in school, and she said she really loved learning the language. We had lots of conversations, and she also helped translate as well. And it really touched my heart that she was so excited to just learn the language and wanted to learn more. And on the second day of VBS, she didn't show up, and it was okay. And then on the third day, she had came back, and she came up to me and gave me the biggest hug ever. And I asked her, where was she? And she told me that she was at home studying because she had so much homework, and she just wanted to practice her English so she would be able to talk to us more. And that really touched my heart. And then on our last day together, many of us cried because saying goodbye was hard. The children hugged us, but we reminded them it was not goodbye. It was see you later. And after that, we wanted them to remember us by not a sad moment, but as a happy moment. So me and other of my team members decided to have like this little dance party circle, I guess you could say. And we danced around with them, gave them hugs, and just had an amazing time for our last day. And then we invited them to the service we were having later on that evening. Many of the kids showed up, and Leah and Jal even wrote letters to me and other team members. And then also, one sweet little girl gave me a bracelet that I will always treasure. Those moments reminded me how much love can be shown through simple acts of kindness. This trip taught me that God is always working, even when things don't go as we expect. Every setback had a purpose, every conversation mattered, and every prayer made an impact. But this mission didn't end when we left Costa Rica. We don't have to travel to another country to share the love of Jesus. We could do it right here in our schools, workplaces, and neighborhoods, and with the people we meet every day. Thank you so much for allowing me to share my testimony. God truly changed my heart through this experience, and I pray that He continues to use me wherever He leads me.
Next up, we have Nate.
Good morning. My name is Nate Pond, and I'd like to share how I was impacted on our mission trip to Costa Rica. Throughout this week in Costa Rica, one of the things that impacted me was being able to see the amount of faith that I witnessed. Starting on Monday, our teams went out to families that Pastor Emmanuel knew that were in need. We would go out with our translators and ask these families or individuals about their story and their relationship with God. Most of the people we visited were in poor living conditions and were in bad health, but we were always welcomed with a smile and a hug. When we asked about their story and their relationship with Christ, almost every person had faith that God would provide and were open to share how God has impacted them. But where I saw the most impact was when we invited non-church members to Wednesday night's church service, and they showed up. It reminded me of Matthew 18, verse 3. It says, "Truly, I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven." Thank you for allowing me to impact a community and for me to be impacted by others.
Hi, I just wanted to thank the church for supporting us and praying us during this trip.